All right, now 7 and 8 happen to be my favorite two problems on this sheet. All right, so Xinyan chooses 4 numbers at random without replacement, and from the set of integers 1 through 10 inclusive. Inclusive means we're using all of those numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What is the probability that the product of these 4 numbers has a units digit of 0? Express your answer as a common fraction. All right, so the first things first. Probability, you are going to be looking for an answer which is your desired outcomes over the total number of possible outcomes. So let's first find the total number of possible outcomes. So I have 10 digits, and I am going to choose 4 of these digits. So because this is mathematical notation, this is a combination. Now, if I have 10 numbers and I'm choosing 4, there's an equation that goes along with this. And that equation is, I'm going to call this value n, I'm going to call this value r. So n factorial divided by, I'll get to it in a second. No, it's the factors multiplied together. It's all of the numbers less than it. So 4 factorial is equal to 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, but who cares about the 1, all right? So 4 factorial is 24. 5 factorial would multiply all these plus multiply 5, so 5 factorial will be 120. 6 factorial will be 720, but you don't really have to memorize them, although it can be helpful. So n factorial divided by n minus r factorial times another r factorial. Now this actually makes sense, but that's for another time. We're just going to use this equation here. So for my possible values, we have 10 possibilities, and we're going to choose 4 of them. So this is a great time to use a graphing calculator, which you can actually plug it in. But if you
use a graphing calculator, can you use one on that computer?
I don't have. I don't have a graphing calculator here. It's like the blue ones, yes. You'll find blue ones. So there's a math button. There's a math button that you have to click. And so using your graphing calculator, you would actually type 10. Then, yes. So you type 10, and then you'd hit the math button. And on the top, you'll see probability. So you have to scroll over to prob, PRB. And then under that, you'll see the NCR notation. It's number 4. So you hit enter once you get it highlighted. And it takes you back to your regular screen, and then you would hit 4. And then when you hit enter, you'll get the answer of 210. Quick math here. So the total number of probable outcomes is 210. Now another way you can do choose is it's a 10 factorial over, so that's going to be 6 factorial times 4 factorial, and so you can go from there and eliminate stuff. But we have the graphing calculator, so that's helpful. All right. So that's your crash course in all right, so now the next problem. We need to figure out how many possibilities will have a 0 at the end.
You have to go pretty soon.
Well, we're going to do these 2 problems at least.
Okay.
So to get a 0 at the end, I could have a 10. I could have a 10. That's fine.
Okay.
So that's one situation. I could have a 10. So that means I have my 10, right? But then I have 9 values left, and I can choose 3 of them. And so when I do 9 choose 3, I will have a total of 84 possibilities. So I need to keep that because just the fruit snacks. So that's only one possibility because I can also get a 0 at the end if I have a 5 and an even number. And I have even numbers 2, 4, 6, 8 in the inclusive thing, right? So at this point, I have yes, I have 3 different ways I can get a 5 and an even. They are, I'm going to move this over and shrink it. So I'm going to need some extra space here. So I can have a 5, I can have 1 even, and 3 odd. And so that would be 2 odd. So that's 1 number, 2 numbers, 3, 4 numbers. Okay. So for this situation, go like this. For this situation, to have a 5, that's 1, choose 1, which is just 1, right? 1 even. So having that 1 even, that means I have 4 evens, but I'm only going to pick 1 of them. And then for the odd, I have 4 other odds. I have 1, I have 3, I'm already using my 5, 7, and 9. So I have 4 possibilities, and I'm going to choose 2 of them. I'll rewrite that really quick. So this is 1, choose 1, which is just 1. I have 4, choose 1, which is just 4. And then I have 4, choose 2. And 4, choose 2 is going to be 6. So 1 times 4 times 6. So to have 5, 1 even, and 2 odds, that is a total of 24 possibilities. So that is 5, 1 even, and 2 odd. Great. Next, I could have a 5, I could have 2 evens, and I could have 1 odd. Now notice how this is pretty much the same thing, right? I'll have 1, choose 1. I'll have 4, choose 2. And here I'll have 4, choose 1. Well, these are the same numbers, just in different order. And in multiplication, order doesn't matter. So I'll be left with my 1 times 6 times 4. So I'll have another 24 if I have a 5, 2 evens, and 1 odd. My last situation is if I have a 5, 3 evens, and 0 odds. Well, this again is my 1, choose 1. I have 4, choose 3, because now I have 4 different evens and I'm choosing 3 of them. And now we have 4, choose 0, which is obviously not going to be any of them, right? So this is going to be 1. This mathematically is 1. Just roll with me here. And then it's going to be 4 factorial divided by 4 factorial, which is 1. And so over here, 4, choose 3 is going to be 4. Oh, so I have 4 more options. So let's add all of these options together. So I have 84 plus 24 plus 24 plus 4. Hopefully I got what I had here. Yep. And so my probability of getting 0 is going to be 136 over 210. Okay, this is good, except we can't have an fraction that isn't reduced. You can't help but notice that 2 goes into both of those. So we get divide both by 2, and we get 68 over 105. And so this is my final answer. So the whole idea of choosing is kind of a big deal in this one. All right, last problem for this video. All right, 2 congruent circles are inscribed. So we know that this is 12, we know this is 18, and we want to know what fraction of the area is this piece here. Well, I'm going to draw the rest of this here. Okay. And I know that this distance here, it has to be 6, right? And if I break it in half, this is 3. All right. So now we're getting somewhere. Because I know the radius of this thing has to be 6, right? So then I'm going to draw a little. All right. Oh, you know what? That's a third of it, right? So that means this whole angle is 120. If this whole angle is 120, that means this angle here is 60. Well, I know this is a right angle, so this has to be 30. So this is a 30-60 right triangle, where this side length here is 3. Well, using the rules of a 30-60 right triangle, using the Pythagorean theorem, if this is A, this long side is going to be twice the A value, and then this side, the height, is going to be the A value times the square root of 3. So if this is, say, 5, this will be 10, and this will be 5 times the square root of 3. Crash course on 30-60 right triangles. So here is what I'm going to do. If I can find the area of this piece right here, well, that's equal to the area of this other half of the football. So then I just take the area of the entire circle and subtract out the areas of these two the little football, right? And I know that the whole area of the circle is going to be 6. So area is equal to pi r squared, where radius is 6. So that's 36 pi. So let's multiply 36 times pi. And so that's 13.04. All right, excellent. Good stuff. And so now, well, this is 1/3 of it, right? So this sector right here is 1/3 of it. So 1/3 of the whole. So I'm going to divide that by 3. And so this whole sector is 37.68. But I have a little bit on the outside that doesn't take, or that's not in the sector. So I need to find the area of this piece here. Well, to find the area of a triangle, it's 1/2 base times height, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So,
by 2, right?
yeah, well, and that's why I multiply by 1/2. So we have the height of 3. Okay, so the height is 3. The base is, well, this piece here is 3 times the square root of 3, and we explained why. This is 3 times the square root of 3, so 3 root 3 plus 3 root 3 is 6 root 3. Okay, but wait a second. 6 root 3 divided by 2, I'm multiplying it by this 1/2, is just going to be 3 root 3. So let's multiply this together, and I'll get the area of this piece here. So the square root of 3 times 3 is, all right, and the area of the whole sector is this, right? So I'm going to subtract out So I'm going to go ahead and subtract out. So I'm going to make that a negative. I'm going to add my 37.68. And okay, I have made a mathematical error somewhere in here. I know, that's a big uh-oh, because this has been a long video and nobody wants to start this one over again. Yeah, well, how much time do I have? What time is it?
It's 4:49.
Okay, so I have some time. 6 minutes, okay. Can you pick up the floor? Comic relief, right? Okay. So I'm just going to double check. So we have 36 times 3.14. All right, and 1/3 of that area, okay, is in fact this, all right? And so okay, good. And so the area of this, so this is 3√3 times 3. 3√3 times 3 is in fact okay, and we're gonna multiply that by 3. That's where my mistake is. That's where my mistake is. I forgot to multiply 3√3 by 3. Okay, we're back in business. So the area of this triangle is 15.588, and I'm going to subtract this piece from 37.68. So I'm going to make that negative. I'm going to add my 37.68. Okay, so the area of this shaded region right here is 22.09. Well, I have 2 of them to make the full football, so I'm going to multiply that by 2. So the area of the football that is taken out of the gray circle is 44.18. Well, I know the area of the full circle is 36 times pi, right? So I'm going to pull this out. Oh my goodness, that's big, so I don't forget it.
Why is that so big?
It is really big, times 3.14. I'm going to subtract out my 44.183, and I get 68.857. Now I want to know the fraction of this area for the whole thing. Well, the whole thing is 12 times 18, so I have 12 times 18. Okay, it's 216. That was my area code growing up, Cleveland, Ohio. So 68.857 divided by 216 is 0.318, and it says round to the nearest hundredth, so we have to look at the 8. So we're going to round this to 0.32. So the correct answer is 0.32. All right, that took forever.